Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now the last video I did was a flip through of this Colouring Heaven collection tattoos, and I really do like it, so I have picked a page out. I was going to go with the new and exclusive, but this one just called out to me for some reason, and I'm sure that this one isn't in the Hannah Tattoo Darling ones, even though it doesn't say new and exclusive. The other one was going to be, where is it? That one I was going to do, and that says new and exclusive, but for some reason I'm just drawn to this one. I think it's the lilies. I think it's the lilies I really like, and I've got an idea of colour schemes that I want to go with. I've not decided yet whether I want to do the actual tattoos in colour or black and white. We shall see. So I've got my protective sheet. Now I tend to always use these sheets whether I'm using alcohol markers or I'm planning on painting the page, which I think I'll paint the background, just do a really simple one, because the paper isn't really thick in this, but it does take it as long as you're careful. So I usually have these plastic sheets linked in the description. Now I will say that if you're using a heat gun like I sometimes do, you have to be careful, and even sometimes I forget and it melts the plastic. So the edge of that one is melted, but it's still usable. It'll still do the trick. You could even put a couple of clips on this, but I'll not do it for now. But when we come to painting, I'll clip down probably here and here just to make sure the page is as flat as possible, and even put another book on this side just to keep it so it's not bowing up like that, just to keep it as flat as possible. Now I am struggling with alcohol markers and skin tones. I'm running out, slowly but surely I am running out. Even the culprits that I've got have all gone basically. So I've got a mixture here. Now I don't know if there's going to be any good skin tones. I can't remember how many was in this set. It might have been 100. And then I've put leftover skin colours in here to use up. And then this one was the pastel one. Now I want the lily to be quite a bright pink, and obviously green for the leaves. Lily pad's a nice green colour, and then the water obviously needs to be blue. I don't know what they are. Funny, I saw a TikTok of somebody trying to eat one of them, calling it a nature hot dog, and it just like explodes in the mouth, all fuzzy stuff. Anyway, so I've got a scrap piece of paper that I like to swatch these out, because I haven't actually swatched these out in my swatch book because I'm too lazy. I would rather pick out the colour, test it on here first. So I'm just a bit nervous that I've not got a skin colour. You're probably looking at all these and going, God Debbie, you've probably got 1,000,001. But really, honestly, the right skin tone colour is difficult to find in alcohol markers. So I will try the eggshell white, mellow peach. That one's going to be too pink. I've got snow white. And have we got any in here? These are where I'm really lacking them. I just need to get a new skin set, because these are darker than I would like. Yeah, fruit pink, that'd be too pink. Got two of them fruit pinks. Pale cherry pink. What about that powdered pink? There's actually two of these R20. So if I give these a swatch out, let's have a little see. That might be okay. So we'll keep that to one side. And then we've got the sand white. I'm not sure. Not sure about that one. Mellow peach. Oh no, I don't think so. I'll leave these for a minute though and let them dry before I say absolutely not. Eggshell white. So they're the skin tones that I'm basically working with, lighter skin tones. So I think that's going to be too pink. The powdered pink, that it is too pink, that one, so I can't have that one. I mean, that second one's not too bad, which was the sand white or we could go with a slightly darker skin tone, which is the eggshell white. I think I'm going to go for the sand white and just see what happens. See what happens and hope for the best, I guess. But just get the skin tone out of the way. Just double checking that's the right colour. I need myself actually to watch a few tutorials. Let me move my light and move it down. On how to do handling noses, because there's nothing there to work with. I'm not the best at noses at the best of times, so having to create my own, and I have to have a look. I mean, this portion of the video will just be me filling in with alcohol markers. I might actually do the background as well in this video and then leave that to dry. I'll leave it to dry probably overnight. And now you will see as well the illustration on the other side, even more so when the page is wet. You won't be able to see that once it's completely dry. Now I will say with alcohol markers, the trick is to work as quick as you can to avoid them streaks. So I am actually going to fill up right to the eye, and then I'll put my own eye back in, my colours and stuff later on. I just find using alcohol markers for especially skin, it just takes the scurriness out of it. Now, I imagine her with either really bright red or a bright pink to match the lily with this one. So I'm not going to fill it in with the skin tone. You can see me moving around, like darting around, because I don't want to leave the edges for too long. That's the way that I find it's best to avoid any lines. I thought I'd gone out a little bit there. Not to worry, paint will cover that up. So I'm going to go over, I want to go over the whole actual area, and then if I decide to colour the tattoos, the coloured tattoos, I will do that with pencil. Otherwise I think that they might be too bright, and I don't know a whole lot about tattoos, but I do know that the colour fades after some time, so unless she's just had this tattoo they wouldn't be super bright, so I'm not going to use the alcohol markers. I had no idea this issue was coming out as well, so it was a nice surprise, a really nice surprise. And so it might not be perfect, but it will do, and I've gone into the light a little bit there, but it is what it is. So for my pink, there's three colours actually here, four now that I'm looking properly, that are popping out to me. We've got Old Red, Rose Red, Vivid Purple, which that just looks like a fuchsia that to me, and Vivid Reddish Purple. So let's swatch all these out. See, that looks more of a red that to me. And that does as well. My eye's playing tricks on me. So that's more on the pinkier side. So we're getting closer. Which one's this one? Vivid Reddish Purple. Right, well there you go, that's the last one, and I think that's one. They all look reddish on camera, but I promise you they're not. I'm just going to double check. Got cherry pink. No, the last colour was better. Any in this one? Light prawn. What's that one? Hollyhock. No, that's not as dark as I would like it. I think I'm going to have to stick seagulls with this shade. Yeah. I think it'll look nice with that, with the really vivid pink anyway. So I'm going to do the lips matching. So I do want to be careful here because I don't want to go outside the liner. Oh, that reminds me as well. She's just come out with today a new book. It's only available as digital at the moment, I do believe. So I'll have to wait till next week and then I'll purchase that and get it printed out, I think. Unless my husband's feeling really generous. I think we're all feeling the Christmas pinch. Not just Christmas now, is it? Anyway. So yeah, that is more on the reddier side than I would have wanted, but it's really not picking it up on camera. That really does look red, but it's a really dark fuchsia pink. So is that part of the petal? Yeah, it is now. I'm going to make all these actually this colour. Why not? And before I've finished doing the alcohol marker bit, I'll get my paints out and get them prepped and ready, so I'm not having to wait. I think I might use the Gansai Tambi paints while they're a new to me one. Hannah Lynn's style's changed as well. I mean, I still like it, but yeah, it's changed. All artists have to evolve, don't they? Went a tiny bit out the lines there, but not to worry. My daughter's giggling her head off. So instead of making the water blue, I think it would be quite nice to make it like a turquoise shade, and then maybe turquoise and the pink that's in the background. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. We need to make sure that the lily pads somewhat match the colour scheme. Oh, the hair as well. Well, I would usually go with like a black hair, but maybe not with alcohol markers. Maybe I could just put a base down and then have like I could do blue, like a really light version of this, like a turquoise blue hair. I think that's what I'm going to do. Fill in these areas. I've got a gorgeous pink paint as well that will go perfectly with this. I want to keep that out for a minute because I want to check. I just want a lighter version, which is definitely not that one. So what is that? It's PB. So have we got any other PBs? PB9, so it's too close. PB7. No, that's the wrong. That's wrong. Wrong. Mellow green. I might have more luck. Nope. In the pastel range here. So horizon green. Green shadow maybe. Well, that one's quite nice. So the first one. Yeah, that can go back in there. Just stop me from confusing myself. These pens can go back. If they will ever fit back in. There we go. Right, so the hair. If I pick the wrong one up. Debbie. Right, well that area at the back's being dark. That serves myself right for putting them all back. Oh no. I think it was green horizon. Yes, it was. Right, so that area at the back is just being dark, just because it is. This is the colour I wanted. Just in circular motions and try and get it down as quick as you can. Within staying in the lines. Oh, I'm so mad at myself. Call these space buns, I think, don't I? I put them in Isabel's hair and she looks really cute, but it doesn't last. With all her head bashing, it doesn't last. Actually, it's not that bad, is it? I thought it would stick out like a sore thumb, but do the top section first because of Hannah Lynn's, the way that she draws. It's really thick line art. You can get away. I mean, if this was more of a, let's say, a Mariola Boudet page, I wouldn't be able to do this because you'd be able to see the line. Because it's more realistic hair. So that is one of the blessings of colouring one of Hannah's pictures. Now I can feel the paper has started crinkling up a little bit. But if that doesn't bother you, you know, go ahead and do this. You could always put it underneath some heavy books. Normally when I'm working on something like this, or let's say it's a PDF and it's buckled a little bit, I'll just place it on my little colouring cart underneath my finishes and whips of the month, and it soon flattens back down. But if that bothers you, just be mindful. And that's the other thing with Hannah Lynn. I wish she'd leave the eyebrows not so bold, and then I could add my own colour. I sort of feel like I'm being forced to have them black, which I would have liked them turquoise. Maybe I could use an acrylic pen or something over the top, I don't know. No, that is too similar to the skin tone. I'm leaking sand to colour these. There we go. I don't know what the actual name is for them, but these things. I'm actually going to treat these as well, not as like grass. I'm going to treat them as like sticks almost. I don't want to add loads of different colours. want to try and keep it really minimum. I forgot to bring my drink up. So I've just got a lily pads to do. I'm going to leave the eyes because I am quite undecided on what colour I want them to be. So if I just leave them for now and then come back to them. So let's test a couple of different greens. I'm not loving that one. Absinthe. That's a little bit better. That will do. I've not got the paints out, I've literally just said. I'll have to just press pause on the video. The nib on the end of this one is seeing better days. I think the colours go together really beautifully actually. The last thing to colour with the alcohol markers is the balls in her hair, and I'm leaning towards that fuchsia colour again, just to try and keep everything matchy matchy. So let's see if I can find which shade that was now. That was more of a red one, I think. Was it purplish something or other? Vivid reddish purple. Yep, that's it. And that's what I'm going to fill in these. These other things in here I'm going to leave and colour them pencil because I don't know yet what colour I want them. Oops daisy, went out the line a little bit there, not to worry. And last one. So I'm going to get all situated now, clip this colouring page down as well, get my paints ready, paintbrush, water, etc. And then come back. Yeah, I'm undecided what to do about them, so yeah, I will come back. So I've got the paint brewing, I've got my little swatches here, and I've picked out this one, mixture between these two, and then a couple of the pinky reds. Not sure if I'm going to use all of them colours. These are they're called crocodile grips, crocodile grips. Push down the paper as flat as I can get it. Now, do not leave these on overnight. I learnt the hard way, they do leave a bit of an indentation in your books. So I would suggest doing your painting, leaving it for at least half an hour at least, and then take as long as it's not bowing, and then take the clips off and let it dry flat naturally, otherwise it will leave at the indents like I said. So that seems flat. I would play it safe and put a bit of tape on this side. Even though this is low tack tape, it still rips. It still rips. So I'm going to put it on my leggings and hope for the best basically, and hope we don't get any roll hairs. And then just pop it down this side. I don't have any intention of actually going anywhere near this corner. So, let me move you up. But that's my radiator. The radiator in this room, even though it's new part of the house, whenever you have to have the heating on, it just makes a racket. I think I might actually turn the big light on. No difference. No difference. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm using my little homemade watercolour palette. I made this a while ago in resin. I might try that again. I really enjoyed them. Really enjoyed doing it. That was a bit of a messed up one, you can see, but it's still solid, and you know, it does the job of what I want it to. I've picked up a couple of brushes now. I've had an incident with my favourite small one, and when I've left it to dry, I've let it dry as I usually do on this paint, what's it called, paint puck, and I've put it back in my little glass jar, and then not noticed I've put the acrylic paint pen on top, and I've just found it, and that was stuck in the top there, so it's frayed it. I'm hoping that once it's wet, I didn't get a cloth, once it's wet it'll be alright, because I love this. I mean, it's alright there, to be honest. So we'll play it safe with a medium. This is Princeton Neptune number 4 brush. I do really like these brushes. They're not mega expensive, but they're not cheap ones, so I don't feel scared using them. Although I would like to try this silver brush. I've heard a lot of nice things about them. So load this up on here. I'm going to actually load my palette up first before I start painting, and just hope that I've got enough paint mixed and ready. I don't want this to be a huge background. So 1, 2, I think it's this one. That might be a little bit more on the reddier side than I wanted. So the minty colour. Oh wait, nice is that one. It looks almost to me, oops, it looks almost to me like a mixture between gouache and watercolour paint. Am I right in saying that's what this is? Because look how pigmented that is. No, I don't want to mess around with it too much now. Because I think, oh, the pinks can mix together. I don't mind that. I just don't want the green mixing with the pink. So let's take some of this off the brush. Yeah, you see how pigmented that is. So with a clean brush, let's do this right, haven't I? I want to wet some of the paper. Now, please keep in mind that this is not watercolour paper. So it's going to do what it's going to do. You're not going to be able to control the water. And I've just realised I probably should have changed my water. Never mind. Yeah, it's not going to probably do what you want it to do. It'll do it with a fashion, but you won't be able to get, I don't know what the right word is. Like if I was using proper watercolour paper, I'd be able to get a couple of different effects and different techniques, but because it's not, just have to be a little bit more careful. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm not even loading this brush up again yet. I think this is only the 3rd or 4th time I've actually used these paints since getting them for Christmas. So it's taken a little bit of getting used to. So let's do this top area. Yep, I should have cleaned my water. Me being lazy. So I'll switch my brushes now to a slightly smaller one, which this is a size number 2, and go in with these pink shades. Let's just mix them together. I've added plenty of water as well there at the start. You can see it just bleeding out and doing its own thing. It's going to tend to go that way, so if I hold it like that for a second and kill my little finger by holding it in place. I'll fill all this in actually. So while that is still quite damp, I'm going to straight into the palette and see how dark I can get this area. It's sort of like just messing around with the paint and just getting it to a point where you're happy with it. There's no real rhyme or reason on how I'm doing this, to be honest. But you can see where the page is buckling the paper, that's where it's going to settle into them areas. There's not really much I can do about it, to be honest. I mean, you can try and gesso the paper, but because I wanted to use alcohol markers, I didn't want to destroy my nibs. So that's why I didn't do that. I'm all fingers and thumbs. So I've wet that area again in the green, just so I can add onto a little bit more pigmented just in certain areas. I've gone straight into the watercolour palette this time. I've not wet any of this area at the bottom again, have I? Not too worried about going over some of the illustration because pencil will cover it up anywhere. This is where you need your fine brushes. So I'm quite happy with that. I want to add a tiny bit more pink to some of these areas at the top. Start on this area now. Now the water's got a lovely green tinge to it. I'm not getting up, not again. And we'll do green here and then pink at the bottom. So initially you just put in like almost just a base layer down just to see where you want the colours going, and then you're going over the top with a more concentrated version of that colour. I'm having to steady my arm on this clip as well, so it's not ideal. I feel like I'm a bit, see I'm going out the lines and not being as careful as I should. So I'll just leave that for a minute now. Switch over to the pink. You stay back up there. I wanted to follow it down then. Swim with the pink. I wanted to use paint on this because I wanted to show you that it is possible to use paint in the Colouring Heaven issues. You just have to be a bit careful. Right on her skin there. It's because this clipped in my hair. I don't want to take it off. So just get it a little bit deeper in some areas. Merge these two together now, like that. I want as well a couple of dots. I would do water splatter, but I think I'm pushing my luck doing that. So shall I bring it down the bottom? It's probably going to look a bit empty if I don't. So I'll be able to do all this in one go, I think, more or less. So I'm pre-wetting the area while I've already got the pink on the brush. Let's just pop this down. What you could always do as well, I'm sure that I did a video on this a long time ago, is you can iron your colouring pages, because if they turn out really crinkly and it does really bother you, you know, that does work. Let's add a bit of green to this side. Let them just merge into each other, see what they do. Probably not a whole lot there. And I think that'll be it for the background. That will dry a tiny bit lighter than what you can see here as well. And what I probably will do, I will iron this page just to show you, because you can see how crinkly that it is there now. I don't want to mess around with it too much. I'll let it dry probably for about half an hour, take the clips off and then just let it do its own thing. Leave it overnight, and then in the morning, we'll iron it, and then hopefully tomorrow afternoon I've got time again to do the next part, which will be all the shading. Now I do want to add embellishments to this page, like stickles and gel pens and that sort of thing. So yeah, stay tuned for part 2. I'm not sure whether it'll be up tomorrow or the day after. It all depends on little miss and how she's behaving. And I've got a very poorly husband off work. I had strep A over Christmas, and now he thinks it's either strep A or tonsillitis, and he's on antibiotics. So yeah, all fun and games, all fun and games. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next part. Bye.